Good morning, everyone. Guys, we're going to be talking about the Trump invasion of Iran. I know this has not happened yet, and people will are saying it's never going to happen. Guys, this is my own opinion, my speculation, my analysis. If you guys have been following this channel for a while, you'll like months and months and months ago, I started talking about this diversions where the United Kingdom would be concentrating in Eastern Europe, their military efforts, and the United States would be fighting a war in the Middle East. This was months and months and months ago, guys, when I said this. This was months ago, guys, when I said this. Now, if you look at the world, how it is, if you take a step back and look at the world holistically, you're seeing these allegiances, guys. You're seeing these things, sprout up. And if in the back of your mind you see this pathway, the next time you see an event, guys, and you just think about this pathway, that what I just said, the United Kingdom is going to lead what's left of NATO, although it'll probably just be the European Union, in eastern Ukraine against the Russians, and the United States will be, in a conflict in the Middle East. If you just humor me the next time there's an announcement, think that in the back of your head and think, right, how would this lead towards that? And you'll see the path in front of you, guys. I can't remember whether it was a meme or something I saw, and somebody said, if you know the destination, the road becomes clear. If you use that as your basis for your analysis, you'll just see these breadcrumbs and you'll be like, yeah, that's what's happening. So first of all, guys, before I get into what's happening with Trump and why Trump's going to have Trump will have a war with Iran, what I want to do is I want to give you guys more, more meat on the bones of this diversions that's happening. So I'm not going to go into things I've previously said in other videos about these alliances and, you're slowly seeing these things move apart. I just straight away, guys, I want to go to the shared screen and I want to show you guys what President Macron has said. Obviously, I'll share all these articles in the description below. So it's in French, guys. I don't understand French. I learned French when I was at school, but when I left school, being a patriotic British Englishman, I made myself forget French. Israel's top ally shocks Netanyahu. Macron declares support for Lebanon amid invasion fears. So President Macron is now distancing himself from the Middle East. Who isn't he distancing himself from? He's not distancing himself from, Ukraine. He's not distancing himself from the conflict in the East. So, you can see where these chips are starting to fall, as we said like months ago. French President Emmanuel Macron, have you seen his missus? Have you seen his wife? Guys, I'm not passing comment. I'm just saying, have you seen his wife? Pledged support for Lebanon following recent explosions that caused significant casualties. In fact, no, guys, I'll do a separate video on him and his wife. President Macron pledged support for Lebanon following recent explosions that caused significant casualties. In his address, he expressed solidarity with the Lebanese people and discussed the detonation of thousands of electronic and solar devices. I've not heard too much about the solar devices, guys, so I think that I'm not sure the credibility and the legitimacy of those. And I'm not sure how you do it either. And I'm not saying they're not doing it. I'm just saying my understanding is I don't know where that technology would be come from. Macron stated that the probability of war affecting Lebanon is not inevitable. His remarks followed a series of explosions that resulted in dozens of deaths and thousands of injuries. Guys, so the main takeaway here, guys, is Macron expressing his solidarity with the Lebanese. So this is just more towards the diversions of not East versus West, of just a global conflict. You can see these things brewing because countries are not going to want to fight a war on two fronts. Guys, it's NATO versus, it is NATO, but NATO have to be seen to be breaking up and going separate ways. And remember, guys, I've done lots of videos. I've talked about Article 5 and how people think that Article 5 is some sort of magical shield. It's not. Article 5, in fact, guys, on tonight's live at 8 o'clock, I will talk about Article 5. I'll go through it and I'll just show you guys how it is literally not worth the paper it's written on. If that was a contract, if that was a contract for a private rental property, you'd be like, dude, this is a bit rubbish. But anyway, so Article 5, NATO, it's over. You're going to see Europe and the United Kingdom focusing on the Russians. You're going to see Donald Trump having a war with Iran. Guys, I've said it. That's my speculation, my analysis, and my opinion. Obviously, go and do your own research. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to the breadcrumbs that I'm showing. See the breadcrumbs that I'm showing you. Look, take a step back and think, right, okay, where do these little weeds grow into? What, you've got to see things in the weeds, which is what I'm going to bring you on to now, guys. An Iranian group for Trump. So I'll share the article, guys. I'll give you a headline and I'll tell you how I feel this is going to develop. Where is it? Here we are, guys. Iranians for Trump movement launches ahead of US elections. Guys, there's 45 days to the US election. Is that mad or what? A group of Iranian Americans have launched Iranians for Trump, a movement to mobilize support for presidential candidate Donald Trump in the upcoming US election. Sarah Ravine, I'm going to call her Sarah Ravine, the spokesperson for the group's English division, is the opposite. I've taught is the opposite of what a stereotypical Trump supporter is, often portrayed in the mainstream media would be. So she's basically the total opposite to what the media are portraying Trump supporters to be. She's young, she's Gen Z, educated. Are we saying that Trump voters are not educated, guys? I take offense to that. Educated, comes from an immigrant background, her family fleeing shortly after the clerical establishment, once led by, I'm not going to try and pronounce his name, ousted the monarchy and created the Islamic Republic of Iran in 1979. This is key, guys, because this is where it's all going to come from. Guys, mark my words. Right, I'm not going to read the whole article, guys, but I will put this in the description. I mean, from there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to summarize to keep this video relatively short. This is where what's all going to come from, guys, here. We're going to see one, I think it's an inevitability now that Trump wins this election. What we're going to see is people like this coming out and saying how nice Iran used to be until this clerical establishment took over, and how the Iranians, there's lots of Iranians supporting Trump, and then all of a sudden there's going to be a really pro-Iranian rhetoric in America, and they're going to, the Americans are going to move in, there's going to be more conflict. I don't know how exactly they're going to dress this up. Sorry, guys, let me come off the shared screen. Yeah, so what you're going to see in the coming weeks, months, you're going to see this group of Iranians supporting Trump, and then that group of Iranians, it's going to make a distinction between the normal Iranians. And guys, people everywhere want there's good people everywhere, and and what happens is, we if you go look at pictures of Iran pre-1978, 1979, guys, it was a thriving democracy. Then the clerics took power, and we have what we have now. A lot of Iranians don't like the government. A lot of Iranians want to overthrow the government, and that's the reality. So what you're going to see, you will see more and more of this rhetoric, starting with this Iranians for Trump movement, and then you're going to start to see protests or potential. It will only come on social media. It will come on social media at first. You're going to see pro-Trump rallies in Iran, and then the Iranians, wanting liberation, wanting to be free of the, the IRGC, the ruling clerical class. And then slowly you're going to see the footsteps towards a wider conflict, and the United States will have an invasion into Iran. Guys, that's my opinion, my speculation, that's my thoughts. I'm saying this, guys, and I'm putting it on public record way before anybody's even thought about this, that they are going to be the footsteps towards that. And of course, it may not be that perfectly. Remember, we've got the other, we've got the added, not complexity, but the added gambit of the Iranians and nuclear enrichment program. That's going to be moving ahead. So there's going to be, there's more. So there's more to this now. So now there's the, Iranians can't have nuclear weapons. Iranians want Trump. Iranians for Trump. Iranians want liberation. Can you see now how the rhetoric's moving? And guys, this to me just sounds like, honestly, it just sounds to me like the build-up to the war in Iraq, for those of you guys who are old enough to remember. Guys, absolutely wild times ahead. They really are. I'm going to be talking about this and more tonight at 8 p.m. UK time. So guys, if you can, please join in. Last night we like doubled the time. I was going to do a live for an hour. I was almost 2 hours. If you've not seen that, I've uploaded it onto our platform now. Guys, wild times ahead. Trump will have a war Trump will send an invasion into Iran, guys. Mark my words. My speculation, my analysis, guys. I keep having to, caveat that because, we're getting a lot of videos taken down now. If you think I'm wrong, please put it in the comments or join me tonight and, I'll answer your questions in real time. Guys, when we're talking about these complicated subjects with complexities, with geopolitical implications, I answer these questions in real time. Tell me what other, who else does that, guys, in real time? Do you think David Lammy would be able to answer questions like I do in real time? No, of course not, guys. They're all shills, guys. I know what I'm talking about, and if I don't, I'll be honest with you guys. I'll say, listen, I'm not 100% on that. I'll do a quick web search and we'll talk about it together. And maybe we're right, maybe we're wrong. Who knows, guys? But join me at 8, guys, because we are heading towards a global conflict of an industrial scale. I'm going to mag to grid, and I'll get you guys another video later.